Welcome back to Into the Black. Tonight, again, we have a truncated party. We are in the top left, played by Jake. We have Pissed Off Pip, the Manic Mechanic. In the top right, played by everyone's best friend and Brandon. Clob, played by the Techno-Minotaur. And in the bottom, all by her lonesome, Massive Maynala, the buff bureaucrat, played by Lily. Sadly, Alex couldn't make it, so something really bad is going to happen to Percy.
We all knew it was going to happen anyway.
That's what happens when you're absent. Clob gets possessed by a
Percy,
totem.
we gotta move! She's just standing there, like, blank stare.
Dial-up noise.
Yep. The internet I remember and love.
When last we left the party, they had found the descendants of the first settlers of Arquand and were talking to them about what they understood about this radiation and figure out ways to get off the planet. And Maynala, working with Dr. Vizan and Dact, had put together this sort of psychic boosting apparatus that she's hooked herself up to and is going to try and communicate with this energy being of some kind, whatever it is.
It has consciousness, that's what we know.
It certainly appears to. And at the end of last session, she had turned it on. So Dr. Vizan hits the space bar because that's what you always do. And Maynala's body just thump, goes limp, slumps in the chair. Claude, you see all the readouts start to go crazy, and she's just like, she's asleep, like she just passed out.
I want to like monitor her vitals, and I'm not really great at medicine, but I'm okay. Like I know some stuff, a little bit of biology.
Daft and I probably talk you through what you should be looking for.
Yeah, just to make sure she's not like dying at any point, and so I know.
Be like, if the wave is like this, it's good, and if it's like this, it's bad.
Yeah. Also, did we have like a plan of how to pull her out if something? Oh, I got it. Went at one. That's cool. Never mind. I do nothing.
Dr. Bazan really quickly tells you what to look for, but before they've finished saying it, you're already like, wait, no. Was it the wave supposed to look like this? But you don't want to ask.
Are Lashunta pulses, they have their pulse in their forehead, right?
Maynala, you feel this uncomfortable feeling like your head just vanishes and your consciousness gets bigger than you. You feel like you're no longer a person, you're sort of a cloud of ideas sort of floating towards the planet. You're not sure why, but you know the planet's important.
Okay.
Can I get a charisma check from you?
Yes, you can. Check or save?
Check. There's no charisma saves.
Technical question: has her consciousness left her body, or is it still there?
It sounds like. And then add 4 to that.
I'd take another medicine or life science check to determine if her consciousness is in her body.
I feel like I've used up my medicine for the day with the nat one.
There we go. It looks like only parts of it.
Okay.
So like sort of measure. It's way reduced activity in her brain, just sort of lower brain function.
Looks like she's sleeping, but there's no...
It looks like she's in a coma.
I was going to say, or a coma.
She's like extra sleeping.
Sleeping hardcore. Sleeping 12,000.
I have this friend, he's like half bear. This is what his brain looks like 3/4 of the year.
Maynala, you are able to kind of pull yourself together from a cloud of ideas into something that you'd recognize yourself as Maynala.
Okay. My idea going in is like my mental state. I'm just trying to be very welcoming and open because I don't know what to expect, and so that's my mentality that I went into the machine with, if that makes a difference.
I'm not sure I understand.
Like, you know when like people are like, be open to the psychic energy. I was open to the psychic energy. I wasn't trying to like project something of my own. I was trying to be very like listening and open.
Cool. Then give me a perception check now that you're a being of pure consciousness.
Great. Can do. Perceptify. Oh, my perceptifying is mostly good. Let's see how this goes.
I
And then
love your
add
notes,
11
Lily.
to that, so 26. What's up?
I love your
26.
notes.
Yeah.
26, you sort of reach out and try to sense what the planet is doing, and you get um, simultaneously a bunch of strange feelings that sort of get filtered through your experience as a small finite being.
Mm,
You can tell they're being colored, but what you're feeling is pretty close to curiosity, confusion, and a little bit of fear.
okay. Interesting.
I
That's
feel
what you sense.
pain.
Yeah, because it's the Star Trek episode.
I know, right? What'd you say?
Um, so yeah, you're sensing that's sort of like you overhearing its mental conversation of what it's
Okay.
doing. Would you
Um,
like to get closer?
can I get closer and like send out an aura of like mutual curiosity and joy?
Um, you do, and it seems
Cool.
to not
And move
recognize.
towards. Yeah.
It seems to, as you get closer and do that, you sort of feel your clouds of perception and awareness sort of meet and then mix, and it doesn't react to you at first.
Hmm.
It's as if it sort of folds your ideas into its own, as if it doesn't realize there are things besides it.
Okay. Yeah.
And then after a moment, it seems to realize that these feelings of joy and interest are not its own,
Mm,
and it turns its attention fully on you.
mm.
And you feel as if every blade of grass on Arquand is now looking at you and waiting for you to say something.
Great. Well, I have its attention. I'm guess what I'm saying is like I'm willing to be examined. Like if it's trying to like access my thoughts or anything like that, like I want to remain as like peaceful and open as possible, so that I'm not threatening or trying to impose anything on it. Just a very curious other entity.
It is going to sort of the two clouds of your knowledge mix, and it's going to pull out an important person from your past who
I'm gonna have
our
to make
contact materializes before you.
um probably my mom.
What's
She's
she look like?
um she's also Lashunta, but she's
Mhm.
I mean more importantly necessarily than how she looks is like her aura. She's very powerful. She's one of the leaders back on Castrovel. And I haven't had contact with her for a very long time. We're estranged.
Mhm.
Um, don't know what her fate is right now. Maybe she's died in the war that I somewhat kind of started. But yeah, she's just she's no Lashunta. She's probably similar skin tone to me. Her two antenna. Um, probably has like silver hair or something because she's older. But yeah, she's just like very calm.
She stands there calm, imposing the same body language you remember, leans in, and in the last voice you heard her speak with, says, "What are you? Why are you apart?"
Why am I what?
Apart. One word.
Gotcha. Um, I say, I am Mainala. I am Lashunta. I am a visitor.
A visitor. There have been other visitors. Are you like them?
Um, no.
Are they all dead?
Sorry, there was a weird. No, no, no. Remember they were underground.
Okay, yeah.
There was a weird bird that went by, and I was like, sounds like something from that planet. It's super weird sounding. Um, no. I am here to learn from you and then take that knowledge to elsewhere, to others.
You will leave.
To spread joy.
You cannot leave.
But
You
in
cannot be
leaving,
apart. Life should not be apart. Life should be together.
okay. Can I send an image?
Of course.
I'd like to send an image of a mother bird with some eggs, and then it's like, time traveling fast. So it's like the baby birds and then the baby birds are then separate from the mother bird, and they no longer live together, but they're both birds. And I'm trying to
It
send
sort
that
of
image of like,
recoils at
huh?
this. It
I'm
sort
just
of
like saying like
recoils at this.
apartness is natural and good and is part of growth.
It sort of recoils at this image of reproduction and life of these separate entities, and it says, life should not be apart. Life should be all together. These things look separate, but they are not. They should not be. Here they are not. Here they are all one thing.
I
We are
say,
one thing. We are one life.
um,
And you
I
will be too.
I just continue to express or send out curiosity. I'm trying to conceal my extreme reservation about that fact. I don't know if I need to roll something to do that.
I won't make you roll as you sort of trade knowledge back and forth as this sort of the two, I guess, liquids of your minds mix. You find that this being is Arquand. All the living things on Arquand are linked by this energy being, as if
All right.
like the trees and the animals and the plants and the everything is its body.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
sort of the radiation blooms you see are maybe like an appendage, or maybe sort of just a byproduct of it focusing on stuff.
But it's one organism.
It's one organism.
Okay.
It's like
I
a
see.
colony. And
Okay.
what it's doing is it thinks that all life should be like together, when all life should be one life, and it's trying to the people on the planet fold them into that.
Okay. I'm just
When
gonna.
the
Okay.
damage to Percy's mind is it trying to burrow in there and make Percy part of the system.
Right. Um. Is there a way? I'm trying to think if there's a way for me to express that I understand that it is a oneness, and ask if there are other onenesses in other places in the galaxy.
When you first say that, it has no idea what that
Yeah,
means.
it's a very difficult thing to express.
And as
So.
you it takes more time to explain it, it starts to get it, and then it says that it doesn't know,
Hmm.
but if it did know, it would want to go to these other onenesses, and so they can all be one oneness.
All right.
And then the motion you get from that is like, oh, wouldn't that be great?
Okay.
One
Have
big
harmony
oneness.
without harm.
That's what Thanos should have said.
Um. Okay. I'm.
Well, you think we're going to cut back to the
Yeah.
surface.
I'm thinking about how to persuade this creature.
Pip, you're down there with Percy. Percy's off, sort of working with maybe a little computer terminal you've set up out of some parts you had out of the truck, helping them crunch numbers about this radiation being and how to understand it and how to defend against it.
Right.
And we're going to say you're able to, over the next few hours, come to many similar conclusions as Maynala. It's one being. This radiation is sort of a byproduct. It seems to be able to sense comm signals and maybe even listen to them. And that's how it was following you before. And the stories they tell, you learn from these people that it doesn't want to let them leave ever.
Right.
It occasionally kills them, like if they show that they're like a dangerous threat, but usually when they go out to hunt or gather or scavenge, it does its best to keep them away from getting back home, so it has more time to try and
Absorb them.
yeah.
Wow.
They mention a few have been absorbed. That has happened sometimes.
That's no bueno.
They wander off into the woods and no one ever sees them again.
Alrighty then.
Is there any commonality? Oh, I'm not there. I was gonna ask a question, but I'm not there.
Pip was going to say something.
I didn't have anything in particular to say.
Percy could ask if there's anything in common between those that do get absorbed or not. Seems like something Percy
People
might.
who
That
get
does seem
caught
like
in the
something
woods.
Percy would say. They say they haven't noticed anything.
Okay.
Getting unlucky, being outside too long,
Mm.
getting separated from the group, getting cornered by creatures and trapped. They say once their minds are worn down, there's nothing in there anymore.
Hmm.
Well, we've got enough parts now here to get my ship moving again. That's what we decided, right?
You think that with a little time, not a lot, you could get that ship up and running.
Okay. The problem is there's a lot more people here
Then
than we'll
fit in a
fit.
two-man shuttle.
Yeah, we'll fit in our little two-man fighter. What is on the surface of the planet as far as ships? Like, I'm sure that they had some sort of ships that got them here, right? So, or ships that took them to and from the station. So,
No ships on the surface. The story that you're told is that the day that they had to evacuate, the day Arquand figured out how to get into a humanoid mind, they flooded back to the ships, and all the ships took off, and these are the descendants of the people who didn't make it.
okay.
And they say besides, so many people here are old, and some are sick. We're a village like any other.
How many people are here?
You think roughly in this whole big cavern complex.
Hmm.
Yeah, and there's been kids born and stuff.
Oh yeah, it's been half a century.
Right.
There are people here who are 50 who have only known living on Arquand.
Right.
Right.
You want to say maybe between 5 and 700 people.
Wow.
And it's a healthy village. You think like if you left, it would continue to get bigger.
Except they live in terror and can't go to the surface for
Yeah, I
very
would say
long.
until the consciousness figures out how to absorb them all. Cool. Hey Percy, can I pull you aside for a minute?
He sort of takes a break from his work and comes over to talk to you.
Yeah, there's no way you're gonna be able to save all these people. Our ship can't get in here without getting stuck here, and there's fucking 500 to 700 of them. We can just maybe get out of here with us and no one else, and we should do it soon.
Maybe we're coming at this the wrong way. It's all right. So I was wrong about Arquand being safe, but it's a great place to live, except for the psychic murder consciousness. What if we could deal with that?
Well, you're welcome to stay. I'm getting out of here.
Just wait a little longer. Let me finish the calculations with them, and then we'll talk.
All right.
Percy goes back up to finish the calculations. Pip, you are introduced to some local cuisine. You find out that they have this sort of big roasted, sort of burrowing pill bug that is actually delicious. It's bland, but a ton of it. Anything you want to do before we cut away for a second?
Not really, no.
Cool.
What was?
Club Nisa. Yes, Benal?
I just had a question. Sorry, I'm trying to remember. Dr. Sarah Hallian was the person. What was the daughter's name?
It escapes me because I'm terrible with names.
Yeah, it escapes me too. It's okay. I thought it would be in my notes, and I can't find it now that I'm like.
Give her a name. We'll be back.
Okay, great. Sorry.
Kalabnesis.
So I want to, since I've done a terrible job of medicine and I can't tell like if she's okay.
Mm-hmm.
What I want to do is I'm going to like scramble using all the technology and life science knowledge that I got. I want to see if I can find some way to like read. I know that Manala's consciousness is not fully in Manala, but I want to see if I can access like the language center of Manala's brain and see if I can actually somehow read into this conversation she's having with Arquand. Because otherwise, I'm just dead on the ground. Like I don't have anything. I don't know what's going on otherwise. So I'm gonna see if I can like kind of decipher what's going on, so I can be ready to pull the plug if I need to.
Sure.
Also, will pulling the plug not let Manola's consciousness go back? I don't really know how this contracts.
Razan thinks that, the consciousness is being projected. If this lost power, that would like collapse back
Okay,
in.
cool.
Could cause psychosis, but who knows? Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Exactly.
God, why did I do this?
So give me a
Get
life
ready for
science
mad
check
cow
again.
disease. What?
Life science check.
Life science? Cool. 23.
Nice. You are tapping into the language center of her brain and trying to create kind of a feedback so you can see sort of what's going on in there.
Yeah.
When you feel something crawling on the back of your neck and sort of instinctively go like you would with a bug, and then you come out like it's like a tickle, and then you come back and there's this squashed, sticky green fly bug on your hand.
Gross. Flick. Keep going. This does not bug me.
Really, you're on a spaceship, you found a giant bug, and that's not weird?
Oh, I'm sorry. We're on the spaceship? I thought
We're
we
on
were
the
also
spaceship.
underground.
Yeah, you're on the spaceship.
Oh. No, that's different.
We're not idiots. We didn't go to the surface.
Yeah, I
You were on the spaceship.
I flick it away for a second, and then I'm like typing. Then what? Look around. Are there other bugs?
There's no bugs.
I go over to the corpse. Is the corpse still there? It's not a hallucination.
Which corpse?
The bug corpse.
Oh yeah, bug corpse is there.
Does it look like something I can recognize, like a bug from somewhere else?
You think you might have seen one of these in a dream,
In a dream, like a dragon dream.
like a dragon jungle dream.
Oh God, no!
Oh my god! Does it want to be here? I'm gonna run, like sprint. I'll be right back, Manala. Sprint to the cargo hold and like.
Fizan is so like into like keeping track of all like the autonomic nervous system functions because you are so useless. Like they just like 2 seconds go by and they go,
And I'm gonna run to the cargo hold, our little smuggler's bay, and I'm gonna get out the totem.
You
Is it
pull out
doing
the
anything?
totem, and a few more of those bugs are crawling on it. And they
Cool. Is the totem doing anything, or is it the same as always?
So the totem you hold, and it's not doing anything interesting right now, but as you sort of think the thought, does it want to be here? It's that dark wood and then the black painting where it's been carved in. The black kind of pulses
Cool.
and like red, like an ember, just for a second.
All right. We don't have any method of contacting Pip, right? Because comms are bad.
Comms would attract monsters. You have kind of this other funny workaround Pip came up with to talk simply, but he is underground.
Ah, okay. I'll try to send a message, just simple, like totem likes it here or whatever. But it won't reach it to him, and I don't get a response. That's fine. I'm going to go back to Maynala.
Can you make a computer check real fast to see how good of a job you did?
Me or Pip?
Pip.
Okay.
A computer's check for my thing, the light.
Yeah,
We've already been communicating over that thing a whole bunch. So like last.
but you're
session.
underground at the moment.
Yeah,
Oh,
which
that's
I
true.
can't get it underground because I'm not by the truck. There's no way for it to get from the truck to the cave.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Fair.
It's like a physical.
It's
wire.
literally a light. It's like
Well,
there's a
okay,
light
we're-
on
we're
top of the truck.
Promoting each other. Cool.
The message will get to the truck, and it will be stored in the truck.
Right, it gets buffered at the truck, but I can't.
Oh, it does. You have it automatically processing. Cool. So
Yeah.
yeah, then when you get back to the truck, there will be a message that just says "Totem likes it here."
All right.
And I am going to run back into the room with Maynala. I'm going to get Vasath and Vazan. Are they the ones working on this right now?
Zahn and Dact.
And Vazan and Dact. Guys, I need to figure out how to tell Maynala something.
And Dact says, we might be able to get simple messages. You got into her language cortex. It might be weird on her end, but something will happen.
Oh, all right. Cool.
Like
Well,
this guy.
I'm going to try my best. I'll help him out with that. And can we
You
talk
can
to her?
you can say stuff into a mic.
Cool. I get out the microphone and I'm like, no,
Club losing his mind.
I tell her, like, Maynala, the totem, it's activating.
Maynala, as you're sort of conversing with this being, you mid-sentence go, Maynala, the totem is activating. And you don't know why you said that.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I'm like
I
reading
can't
her little
respond to him,
signals.
can I?
And you kind of do like a
It's just
bad
confusion.
impression of Clob.
Um, yeah, unwillingly. I say to the consciousness, I'm still trying really hard to convince it that apartness is okay and to some life forms desirable.
The impression you're getting as you try to communicate with it is that
I know that's
it's
just
like
antithetical.
trying to convince a living creature that being dead is better than being alive.
Uh, can I say that the apartness that we have is always temporary, such that the joining is that much more joyous?
Oh, it totally agrees with that.
Yeah, so I say it's part of our culture to have periods of apartness so that our togetherness is more holy and sacred.
It doesn't understand holy and sacred, but it kind of is getting this idea of like, okay, you don't really want to be apart either. It's
No,
just
no.
it's just a thing you do sometimes. It's a transient state.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, you've given it some things to ponder.
Okay, great. And I say uh, that I'm really enjoying this communication and that I would like to offer a gift.
You're gonna join?
No, it's a different entity that has great power to help create
Mm.
life in this oneness.
Yes, please.
Uh, in
Joining is
exchange,
always good.
great. In exchange for such a gift and access to such power forever after I give it to you, I would like to request that the that there are a couple creatures currently inhabiting you, joined with you, that I would like to have instead uh, have that cultural sacred time of apartness with me.
It's sort of
I want to
confused
take the
by this.
refugees, but I'm asking its permission to take them.
It it does this kind of weird thing where it repeats back what you said, but only until you say like bring this entity down to join with you, and then it stops. It seems to be saying you can come down, but I'm kind of iffy on this whole giving you things.
Um, I'd like to explain that exchange and gift giving is part of what we do as apart creatures to help ease our apartness. We give gifts. And so I would very much like to receive a gift from you. And see what it says.
You get the impression it has no clue what you mean, but it says okay
Ooh, okay, okay.
because it thinks it'll get you to come down.
Can I try and say like giving I'm having trouble understanding what a gift is?
Yeah, because that requires apartness.
Right. Okay. So I was gonna say, a gift is a portion of oneself that they willingly choose to detach from, so that that part of themselves can join with someone else, with another entity.
To bring joy to the other entity, yeah.
Right.
Until they can be joined again. Oh,
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, I give you a gift, and you feel it just like bombard you with its focus, and you are sort of collapsed and pushed back into your body.
Maynala!
now.
The phone's activated.
Sort of
It's like I made a lot of progress today.
Claw, from where you are sitting, you see Maynala have a heart attack.
Great.
Oh my god.
And you're like, and Vizan goes, oh, shit.
Adrenaline?
And has to shock Maynala a couple times before Maynala, you come back.
Great.
Takes you a moment to like get both your eyes pointed in the same direction.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maynala?
And you realize what the gift it gave you was. You have a piece of its consciousness riding along in your head.
No, I don't want that. I thought it was an energy surge.
It doesn't seem to be trying to do anything right now.
But at least it makes communication potentially easier.
It does. You kind of feel its consciousness sort of occasionally bubbling up to the surface.
Can I choose like to wall off part of it to communicate with the team, or is it always open?
You can try to time it.
Okay.
It seems to be sort of swimming around in your head like a fish in a bowl.
Okay. I mean, I'm not
And
gonna get up. I'm gonna stay lying down because I just had a heart attack. But I'll say, I think we're getting somewhere. It's definitely alive. It's definitely the whole planet, and it doesn't really understand the idea that anything is not it.
Yeah. I
Um,
was trying to read like your brain, but it wasn't working
yeah,
out.
I got that. It made negotiations more difficult, but yeah, I got the
Sorry,
message.
but I think I might understand something actually.
All right.
I think I have an idea at least. Maybe I'm wrong, but this might work. Look, this thing's like it's a conglomerate, you know, harmonic consciousness. It's kind of like the triune in a way, or at least it's like epoch. Do you know about epoch? It's one part of the triune, the AI part. You know
Yeah,
the
yeah, of
system.
course. Who doesn't know about the trying?
Yeah,
I
right.
have to I
Exactly.
have to lay back down because I wore myself out yelling.
I don't know if you know, I just had a heart attack.
Probably more
Well,
like a
look,
seizure, right? Like if this overwhelming.
A minor stroke.
Okay, but we're
A
electric and
little one.
radiation was affecting it. Like, it's all energy signals, you know what I mean? Don't
yeah.
fuck with the energy, man. That's all
No,
I'm saying.
I know, but listen. Epoch is on an entire city. It's the actual the physical part of it at least is on an entire city. Like underneath it, it's buried in thousands of miles of wiring, just all over the place. Probably billions of miles of wiring. It's but it can extend beyond its area because it's just an AI. It's an incredibly complex AI, but it's an AI. It's when the triune bonded together, they recognized that the three parts of them, the AI, the android, and the construct, could be safer and more powerful as three entities, not as one, but work together as one. Even though they're all different and they're individuals and they have somewhat of a personality, I guess you could call it, maybe a will at least. They always work together towards the same goal and think as one. Maybe we can convince this thing that it would be better for it to leave the personality part of the apart as their own personalities, even though it's going to occupy them. Like maybe it could just inject part of itself into them and still think with them and let them all be a harmonic system, but work independently for its own safety, so that it can't be destroyed all at once. If it's all one thing, then there's only one of it. It ends when it ends. All life is one, but all life dies together as one.
Hmm.
Maybe if we can make it understand that, we can try to get it to diversify itself and let the people be their own personality living on it. Or even, I was thinking maybe we could get it into the totem. I don't know why this thing wants to be here, but I bet you that it's something to do with this thing. I mean, come on. There's got to be a reason it wants to be here. Otherwise,
Club, how does Club detect ley lines?
so Klob has an old staff
Hmm.
that is his normal battle staff. It's actually broken, unfortunately, but it was used on a specific planet that detected ley lines within that planet. It was made for that planet specifically, and it was a really ancient artifact. So he's not entirely certain how it works, but it's I mean potentially he could modify it to try to detect ley lines here. Other than that, I don't think I can detect ley lines.
I'd let you try that.
Okay, cool. Maybe if we can find a place of power for the totem, we can channel the thing into the totem through there as an access point or something.
I don't know if
Look,
it wants to be in the totem or if the totem wants to go to the planet so that they can commune.
yeah, maybe not. I don't
I
know.
don't know.
The totem might have its own goal. I have no idea.
You know a lot more about. I can't remember the dragon's name even. It's a scary name.
ATOW.
ATOW.
Yeah, Atao. See, a scary name. You know a lot more about Atao than me.
Yeah, ATOW's weird. I can ask him, but how about this? I'm gonna try to figure out how to find ley lines with this totem. Maybe I can work that out. And
But your idea basically is that just like I have a piece of the consciousness in me, if it did that to all the refugees, then they could live in harmony on the shared space.
yeah, and it could use them and still it would. I mean, I'm sure that the reason it wants to incorporate everything is because it wants to make itself bigger and stronger. Because the more
Um,
processing power it has, the better, the smarter it is,
I
right?
don't think it's that. I think it just doesn't understand it. So to
It
get
seems to
actual real,
abhor apartness.
To get actual real life, there's a pretty significantly long stage of a baby's developmental life where it can't differentiate between where its body ends and where its mother's body begins. And like when they talk about like developmental milestones, like being able to categorize objects into different bins, that's something you do in preschool, and like being able to decide where your arms end and how long your arm is like a thing, and like to know that you're separate from other entities. And this thing just cannot do that.
All right. So then we need to make it understand that it's not only binary. There's not just apart and together. There's also symbiotic. Somehow. We need to get it to understand that. That's the best of both worlds. So maybe you can work on that. I'm going to go find a ley line and plant this totem because this thing's cool.
Are you going down to the surface?
Yeah.
Escape pod, poosh.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Okay, well, we won't be able to use comms, and you might get stuck there, and I might never see you again, so you probably say bye to Bree.
That's a good point. All right, I'll go do that first. I go and find Bree and
Meanwhile,
actually, wait, maybe Bree can come down with me.
If you go up and talk to Bree as you explain your plan, she's like she has a whole head of lettuce that she's eating. She's just taking bites of a head of lettuce and sort of listening and nodding. And then as she sort of finishes it, she's like, "I'm going with you."
Oh, you want to find a ley line?
No, I'm going with you.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna find a ley line. You want to find a ley line?
No, Club. I'm going with you.
Oh, well, okay, that's fine with me. Why?
She
I
just
mean, you
rolls
can come along. I don't mind.
She just rolls around and is like, ugh, and she go and she goes and opens one of the escape pods and is like, after you.
All right,
Oh my
cool.
God.
Come on, let's go. Hey, do you know how the stick works?
And on that, we'll cut back to Pip as you sort of close the escape pod, and it fits 2 people. Because it's 10 feet long. It's got to fit 2 people. Pip.
Mm-hmm.
It's been maybe a couple hours, and Percy still hasn't come back.
Okay.
Saying we can go. How much time would you want to give Percy before you're like, we should go?
Percy, you have 30 more minutes.
Percy says, I really think I'm close to a breakthrough. If I just have maybe an hour and a half. And then mid-sentence starts like clutching his head and looks like he's choking on a scream to try to get it out. And he just sort of gets out this choked, "It knows me. It knows who I am." And then arms go slack, and he sort of sits up and just makes this blank stare at you.
Alrighty then. I want to put together a. Okay, so you know how in Star Trek, whenever they move cargo around, they don't just like. They have it in Star Wars too. They don't just like, push it on a dolly. They attach this thing to it and it just floats.
Yeah, it turns off the gravity on it.
Yeah, I want to. We've got tons of tech around and stuff. I just want to put that together, put it on Percy's back, and then just like drag Percy around while he floats a couple inches off the ground.
That'll take you like a few minutes to make, I think.
Sure.
Just to put together, but you can totally go grab some tech and start putting that together.
Because Percy's just like.
At least for the moment, he's like.
Like, stay right there. Go put that together. I come back. I'll be like, all right, Percy, don't move too much. And I slap it on his back.
Percy's not standing there anymore. He's moved.
Okay.
He's not hard to find. He hasn't gone very far, but he's in another room and he's walked up behind some of these other sort of like kind of like the radiation scholar guys. Mm-hmm. And they turn around and one of them sort of his eyes go wide in fear as if he recognizes what happens, and then he clutches his head and then he goes limp too. And they start looking at each other, and every time they make eye contact, there's about 4 people in this room, they each go as if looking at them allows this to like spread.
Cool.
It seems to be contagious.
I just ripped the bottom of Percy's shirt and I tied it around his eyes.
Yep, you tied it around his eyes, and it looks at the last guy, and the last guy... Oh.
Don't look at the rest of their eyes.
No, I'm not going to.
Cover up their eyes.
He helps you and blindfolds them, so now you have Percy and 4 dudes who are blindfolded and limp and trying to walk away, but slowly, and they're pretty easy to keep around.
I'm like, You deal with these guys however you want. I'm leaving. Bye. I slap the thing on Percy's back and just start dragging him out of this cave.
As you're dragging him, people are sort of confused by what you're doing. Like, what the hell?
Hi there. Howdy. Nice to meet you. It was nice to meet everybody.
They're like, wait, where you go? You can't go out there.
I'm like, toodaloo, toodaloo. Nice meeting everybody.
And you see Percy kind of like shiver and seize a little bit and then go limp again.
Mm-hmm.
And now you see someone else sort of nearby, a little ways off in the distance, do the same thing.
Shit.
And then,
Shit. And I start like jogging.
1 second. Thank you. So you start jogging, and by moving quickly, it seems like it's happening less, but sort of this little radius of this happening seems to be getting bigger around Percy.
Okay, well, I get us the fuck out of there. It's not that big a place,
Cool.
and we weren't that deep
It's
in there.
not that big a place, but it happens to maybe a couple people before you're able to get out, and you're at the truck, and then your little Bluetooth thing links back up with the truck, and you get Club's message.
Mm-hmm. Great. I immediately send a message back up, hoping to catch Club before he comes down, and be like, stay the fuck away from the planet, we're getting out of here.
Club, you're in your escape pod, it launches, starts motoring towards the planet, and then the engine cuts off, and is now out of fuel because it's an escape pod, and you get a little message, beep beep, stay away from the planet.
I just look at Bree and I'm like,
No, I got it too, we're still going.
oh, okay.
I can read that over your shoulder.
Well, I didn't know your eyes were that good. Jeez, I need glasses.
You look at her, and her eyes like...
God, you're cool. Why are you... Man, I want to be an android. Bo droid.
Club, where are you piloting this pod?
Well, so as I said, I don't really know how the stick works. I'm like, so what this used to do, I mean, on the other planet, it tapped into a specific frequency that the planet emitted from its magnetic core. This thing, I don't even know if there is a magnetic core on this planet. Maybe I can tap it into the radiation itself. Like, I mean, that is frequencies.
Well, that's what I did last time. I would try different frequencies to try communicating with it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So then, if you already did that, I'm just going to go back over the logs and try the exact same frequencies and see if I can somehow, like, I'm sure it has crystals or something on the actual staff. It's a weird technological staff. Can I like turn these things or try to like in some way manipulate them? I don't really know what I would do. I could probably use some of the goo.
Give me a mysticism check.
Ah, mysticism. That is not my strong suit. I got an at one.
So mystic.
You're kind of fiddling with it. It's not really working. And then the pod starts to buffet a little bit as you're getting close to the atmosphere. And Bree says, "You need to pick a spot right now. We're just gonna land somewhere."
I look around. Are there any is there anywhere where like a couple rivers meet?
Give me a perception check.
Cool. 5.
5.
I see a river. Made out of rocks.
You think you might have time for one more fiddling with the pole before you have to focus on just not crashing?
Yeah, okay, I do that in that case. I'm just trying to get it to point us a direction because I have no idea. Otherwise, I'm just going to point at look at the nicest looking landmark and land there.
Cool. You pick a sort of this cool little ring of hills with a river running down the middle, and you're like, "That seems useful."
Yeah. Sometimes people put stone circles in like religious. Oh wait, this thing's a planet. Oh God, I don't even know.
You rocket down there towards the center of those hills. You know, fire on the outside as you re-enter the atmosphere. The sort of parachute pops out like in Halo, that little metal parachute that slows you down to create drag. Pip, as you get outside with Percy, you look up and you see this little fiery thing streaking down in the distance towards the planet.
All right, Percy, just float over here, and I float him into the passenger seat.
Floats into the passenger seat and then floats over to the driver's side and boom, hits the wall.
All right, I come back in, I push him back over to the passenger seat, and then I buckle him in.
What's wrong with Percy?
His mind go broke.
Oh, okay, for real. Got it.
It's out of money.
And then I'm like, all right, fuck. Kick it into gear and start heading back to our ship. Actually, no. First, I'm going to head to because it's on the way back to the ship. The science camp with the big radio tower.
Yep. You're there.
All right. I
Are the
go
villagers mad you left?
do some wiring.
Hmm?
Over in the communications tower, and I will allude to this later.
Cool.
You can make
You
me
do a thing.
retroactively check later. All right.
You can check now if you want.
No. It's okay.
Okay.
And then I head to the ship.
Cool. You get out, you fiddle with some stuff. As you're fiddling, you feel kind of that headache again. It's a little worse than before.
Mm-hmm.
I think the pills might be wearing off again.
Okay.
You have more, like.
Yeah, I'll pop some. I'll
How
throw
many
some
do you
down
take?
Percy's throat. Well, I can safely take how many?
Vizan said if you take more than 4 of these in like 24 hours, like bad things will happen to your brain. Maybe.
All right. I mean, I'll take one for now, and if the headache is
Cool.
still there, I'll take another in like 10 minutes.
Cool.
Like Advil.
You think you're gonna have to? You think this is gonna be a 2 thing because you're sitting right next to Percy, who's becoming kind of this psychic antenna.
I do that.
But two does the trick,
All right.
and you're still only at 3 today.
All right. When I get to the ship,
Mhm.
I, unload the back and just start working on repairing the fighter. And
Excellent.
let me know at the first sign of 7 animals that I see.
Excellent. You get about halfway done, and those birds from before show up again. No
Fine.
radiation this time, just the birds.
All right, here goes. Doot, doot, doot. I activate the thing I set up in the radio tower earlier. It sends a very powerful comm surge directionally away from the ship. So from the tower, away from the ship, to try and draw these things off.
You don't even have to check because that's so easy.
Great.
It's a lot bigger of a signal than anything else.
You just sent garbage through this channel, and you just like pointed the dish away from where the ship is.
Great.
All the
Planet's
birds
getting liquid.
sit up. That radiation bloom happens, and they start flying away.
Great. It bought me some time. I get back to working on the ship.
You're able to get her fixed up.
How you doing over there, Purse?
They're coming back.
Yeah, okay, but like we can leave faster than that.
They're on their way.
Fucking shit. All right, get you in here, and I open the truck and I unbuckle and I start dragging Percy over to the fighter and floating Percy up and into the cockpit.
As you do that, the blindfold falls off, and his eyes are starting to knit shut.
That's
Holy shit!
terrifying. Get in the ship.
Those are frozen eyeballs.
He's pretty easy to get in the ship.
God damn it, this is creepy.
I like buckle him in there, like double strap him
Not to
down,
look at him.
tighten everything. Well, because I already looked at him earlier and it didn't affect me. So like,
No, it's just gross.
oh yeah. I am not psychically attuned, as we have determined in the past.
It's just icky.
All right, then I get in the pilot seat and I do just begin the startup protocol. Engine check.
You start to show up, and then the radiation thing before the scanning thing starts to happen again, and Percy sort of like shudders and just starts saying this stream of numbers and characters.
I hit record.
Can I get an engineering check from you?
Sure.
Or like, what's your passive engineering?
Just my engineering plus 10.
Yeah.
A fuck ton. 28.
You're like, what the hell are you talking? And then you realize he's saying a shield modulation equation.
What? Can you be clear to me as Jake what shield modulation means to you?
He's saying an equation to punch into the shield generator that tells the shield generator how to make its shields.
Got it. So this is like a fundamental principle of the physics behind generating shields.
Yeah, and you can change the numbers to make it do different things, like resist kinetic stuff or resist energy or
Yeah.
And he's just reading out the equation that's like one of the fundamental, like you'd read this out of a textbook on
It
shields.
is almost the fundamental one. You notice a few differences.
Okay.
Cite the Higgs field.
You're not sure what they mean because it's like
It's like those secret messages and the like different things that are wrong is like
you
the
know
message.
it's different from like a default way a shield works. You're not sure in what way that it's different.
I instruct my drone asshole to just start running some computations based on the adjusted numbers in the background while we take off.
You're starting to try to take off. I need a piloting check.
All right. My piloting
Damn.
is...
Don't get
My
boozy.
passive piloting is 24.
I can do
28.
this with my eyes closed. It's my passive piloting.
I accidentally
28.
rolled it to you instead of to the viewers.
You're starting to take off, but this weird scanning thing as it sort of reaches into the systems is making like thrusters cut out and the power flicker, but you're able to kind of compensate and start taking off. You don't know if you can go into orbit yet, but you can definitely fly away from right here.
That's the plan.
You start to go, and it gets better for a second, but then it starts to get worse again as the radiation sort of catches up to you.
All right. I'm
and-
gonna set off the comms tower for another pulse. I set up basically a camera on it so that I don't have to send comms to it. Now that I'm flying, we can shine a light at it.
You do
and
your light thing before, yeah.
yeah, and this time, this is to like literally overload it to the point where it might explode. Like really strong radio comm signal.
You do that, it seems to explode, and this reduces the intensity of the radiation on you significantly.
And then I'm gonna punch it as hard as I can, try and
Yeah, totally.
break orbit.
As you're doing that, you think you're nearly getting there, but then the radiation starts like turning its attention back to you, and Percy keeps saying it, and then your drone pings you with a simulation.
Okay.
And it's what you see is a little diagram that you look at the corner of your eye. The shields, that if you used this equation, the shields would be super fragile, like incredibly fragile, but they would stop pretty much any kind of radiation.
They'd refract the radiation.
They'd refract the radiation away. Like,
Why would it tell me this? Are we certain about this, asshole?
you get a little 98.7% certainty.
Fuck it. Do. I apply it to our shields.
You hit it, the power core cycles and sort of chugs because this is a weird thing you're asking it to do, and you sort of fall a little bit, and then the engines flare up again. All the sensors come back online, and you see that it's working. It can't get in, and you get this sort of aurora borealis around your entire ship.
That's cool.
It's literally like diffracting the light around the edges of the field.
Do comms pierce these shields?
Not even a little bit.
All right.
You're having trouble seeing out of it.
Right. All right. I punch it, point up, and we're gonna break atmosphere.
You do easily. The aurora borealis thing stops. You get far enough away from the planet. You don't think it can reach you anymore.
And then return shields to normal. Open a channel to the
yeah.
Red Rock. Red Rock, this is Pip. Red Rock, do you copy? Sorry, what? We're Green Galunka now or whatever. We were Bluebird or
The
something.
state bird of wherever Magala grew up.
Green Glunka, yeah.
Green Galunka. This is Pip. Come in, Green Galunka.
I imagine someone else answers that's not me because I just had a heart attack.
It's
But-
chicken.
Yeah.
Chicken. Good to hear your voice. Percy and I made it out. I take
Oh,
it from
thank goodness.
the bright lights I saw in the sky that Klob is an idiot.
Yeah, Club and Bree.
Bree? She
Yeah,
seems
I don't
smarter
know.
than that.
Right?
Did you take that
I'm
fucking
opening the,
dragon totem?
I don't know. I've been up here. I'm opening the doors for you.
All right. I'm sending you a shield modulation frequency. I want you to punch that in and have it ready in case we need it.
I've got it. I've got it right here, ready to initialize whenever you say.
All right.
He says way too fast to have pecked it. The doors open, and you can fly right in and land. Percy's eyes have totally sealed.
The fuck is happening right now?
I have no eyes and I must see.
I'm gonna open the thing and be like, Doc, Doc.
Bring whatever the problem is to the med bay.
I'm like dragging Percy out as he's like half floating.
Cannot operate in the cargo hold.
You get into it's like cannot operate in hallway. And you're like, stop it!
I shout for Ichi, Nissan, and Shi. What are their names?
Yep.
The name? Who? Oh,
Ichi,
sorry.
Nissan,
I know who you mean.
Mikesh and Sect and
the draconic 1, 2, 3, 4
They show up.
to help me carry Percy.
They do. They like hold him up and they carry him.
All right. We get him into the med bay and be like, Doc, fix him.
Doc is like in the middle of like making sure Maynala isn't gonna have a stroke, and looks over. He's like, "What happened?" Puts Percy in the chair that Maynala was in, and starts doing like a brain scan.
Am I conscious?
You're conscious. You're fine. You're
I
gonna
look
check
over
up.
and I'm like, "Oh, Percy, you made it back!" Oh shit! Like, and I freak out.
Did
And I,
Klob
like, faint again.
did Klob take the totem?
Yep. Club did.
I'm asking Maynala because
Yeah.
Jake knows that, but Pip doesn't yet.
Yes.
Well, looks like we're leaving him behind. Let's go.
Hey, pause. I'm gonna say, I talked to it. It's fine. It's fine.
No, we're leaving. It's trying to kill all of us.
It's okay. And I don't think I have the energy to like explain it to Pip.
Did Klob outfit his escape pod with a light communicator before he left? Because I know he was modifying them before.
Yeah, let's say he did, because he would have known about that.
All right. Hey, Klob. How long till you can get back up here?
Have to find Leyline.
Oh god.
You've got 30 minutes. Here's a shield
Piece
for
cake.
what?
Piece of cake.
You know that thing has speech
Piece
to
of cake emoji.
you know that thing has speech to text, right?
Oh, really?
Speech to text and back to speech again.
All right, it should be easy. These escape pods have a reverse, right?
They do. You wired them up for leaving afterwards.
Oh, I did? Oh, I was joking.
We talked about that last week. You spent all of last week basically getting the escape pods to be able to enter and leave atmosphere
With
through
Bree.
the radiation. And I say,
perfect.
I'm sending you a shield frequency modulation equation that you should be able to plug in, and it should be able to help you escape. But I'm telling you that we will leave with or without you in 30 minutes.
All right. I'll try. If I don't come back, upload my entire computer to like 13 different clouds.
Public or private?
Public, of course. Come on, let everybody know.
All right. See you in 30 minutes.
Do you hear the cat, Jake?
She's running around.
Yeah, she's running in circles, being insane.
For the record, if Pip tries to get my computers, they are encrypted. I just figure that if you give them to everybody, people will figure it out.
So you, Club, you've just touched down. When you're looking around, you sort of touch down, sort of at the base of one of these 7 hills, and then you sort of hold up that staff you have, and it's sort of the crystals seem to kind of react a little, just a little.
Oh, nice. I think I got something. One sec. Twist this one just 1 cent more. Ding! Hold on. Start pointing it around, seeing where it reacts to. The way that it worked last time is like the staff. It was much more sensitive on the planet it was for, but the staff along the ley lines themselves. If you were on a ley line, it would literally hover and align itself.
It's not doing that right now.
Okay.
You get kind of like a minor tug in certain directions, and it kind of hums a little more, pointed certain ways.
It's like this thing's like a damn dowsing stick. It's barely working. Okay. We're gonna choose one of these directions and follow it. All right, Bree. All right, we only got 30 minutes also, so let's run, and I'm gonna start using my booster packs to like get really far as I go. And she's
She's
fast as
gonna
shit. I know.
she's gonna follow you.
She's just got mega legs.
As you're running, you're looking around and you're like, where is this thing? And then you sort of break through some brush and you look. The river widens here.
Is
The
this that river
widening
that
is
things were going backwards on it?
Yeah, this one
Okay,
goes
cool.
backwards. The river widens to be almost circular here, and there is a little island in the middle with a little cairn of stones.
Wait, that might be it. I point it towards that. I think that's it. Come on. Jump across the river.
He just wades.
It's fine. I'm cooler. See? I can be cool.
You get there before she does. She's halfway down the river, and you look inside, and there's this little, like, bonsai tree in there.
Does it? So like
these
how big?
little-
Like really tiny? Like 2 feet,
Like-
3 feet?
2 feet tall.
Okay. And how big is
And-
the totem? What's it shaped like again? I can't quite
It's
remember.
about this big,
Okay.
squarish, and has that a crude image of Atau carved into it. Like,
Okay.
you pull it out, and it's doing that embery thing, but not pulsing, just embery thing.
Okay. It's just kind of like letting off random ash and embers and
Mhm.
crap. I want to hold it up towards the bonsai, like towards the roots of the bonsai tree, unless I see like an indentation or something that it would obviously fit in.
It flows more. The bonsai tree seems to rustle and almost try to move away. And these sort of little purple fireflies sort of flutter around, agitated.
Okay. So I can't remember how did I commune with Atau last time through the totem? Was it just because the thing had like bound to me?
Usually you'd be sleeping. The first time you did it, you got your blood on it.
Okay. I look to Bree and I just say, I'm sorry. One sec. I have to make sure, and I'm going to grab out. I'm sure I have like a utility knife or something. I'll give myself a little cut on my hand. I'm going to smear it on Atau's face, and then I'm going to put the totem down on the tree, like right at the base, leaning against the tree, and I'm just going to put my hand to it and shut my eyes and concentrate as hard as I can.
You eyes roll back, and you're in.
Cool. Does it look the same as it did last time? Exact same? Nothing different?
No,
Okay.
you see the 4 braziers
Uh-huh.
glowing brightly, like with flames this time. You are not in a little jungle outcropping shrine. You are on the top of a temple. And you're looking out at a jungle, at a city, and then this great big sort of tan scaled claw with these jagged scales on it on the edge of the temple right at your feet, and then another. And then this titanic head. I'm talking Smaug big. Smaug the first time you see him big. Bigger Luke big. Raises up, and for the first time you get this clear visage of Atau.
Wow.
And it's terrible and wonderful to behold.
Oh yes, it is awful. Biblically awesome.
Yeah, I'm just like I've seen dragons, but they're more the I can fight them type mostly.
Yeah. It's more I can fit in the same room as one, not this temple is more of a perch for this guy.
Yeah, I don't have anything to say at first. My jaw drops and I wait for him to say something first.
He sort of gives this sort of draconic snarly smile, and you hear, "You are the greatest servant I have had in millennia."
I will.
Crappy servants then.
I'll kneel and bow my head a little bit, just briefly before standing up again, and then I will raise my voice finally and say, "I'm glad that I found your home, great dragon, but bit of a problem. There's a radiation harmony thing."
He sort of leans back and sniffs the air, and he says, "I feel it. It is trying to reach out and consume me. It will find I am far too much for it to chew."
Well, good, but well, I hope it's not too much to ask, but could I make one request?
"You can make more than one. You have returned me to power.
Yes. This thing
I have not had a scale priest since before men could write.
A scale priest?
Girl, you about to get, I don't know, something. Something is happening and it sounds really stressful.
I need to take more mysticism points.
You have many favors coming your way. What is your first?
Well, I'm thankful, but my first is simply, please do not destroy the being that resides on this planet. Instead, help it see that its harmony is not the only way. It's very interesting, and I've never heard or encountered anything like it anywhere else in the universe. If it disappeared the moment we found it, and nobody else was to learn about it, that would be knowledge worth much, lost forever.
He sort of looks bemused, a little puzzled, and says, well, I suppose I could restrain myself. I doubt it would be an exciting kill. This thing that reaches out to me has never fought before. It would be no challenge to kill it.
You could teach it.
I shall make it one of my subjects.
Thank you, Great Atau. I need to get back to my friends before they leave, but I'll be back.
He sort of thinks again and says, the humanoids that live here, do you wish to extend them mercy as well?
Oh yes, we're trying to save them. They were dying to the cloud thing.
To make them your loyal worshippers.
They could
I will not have my subjects killing each other wantonly.
They could build up the city around this place. They could make the physical shrine for your splendor.
It would be nice to have a perch again. And he says,
It's not good.
get out of here. I would hate for you to be crushed in what is to come.
Oh, God.
And then it sort of breaks, and you find that little beautiful bonsai tree has been grown around the totem now and grown into a bigger version of the totem.
Whoa. Did that happen as quick as I think it did, Bree?
Bree's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Just talking to the dragon god, not a big deal. We
Oh,
gotta
good,
go.
talking to the dragon god. Yeah, I know we gotta go. And then the ground starts to shake. And as you come out and look up, those 7 hills around you start to split and open like giant eggs. Ground rolling off the back of something that is standing up out of each of them.
Can I tell their form, or is it dragons? Is it giant ass dragons?
It takes a second for them to reveal themselves. They're so big that they move slowly compared to you, but once they do sort of come out, they're more sort of those Leviathan-y Titan dragons, like Atau, but different. You know, one has these super long wings that look like they might be a mile across, that sort of beat and cause the whole forest below it to sort of shudder.
Just a gale from their beats. That's cool.
Oh yeah, and then it takes off, and you have to cover your eyes. Another one looks, like Atau, but less lithe, more bulky. It stands up and starts plodding off, and there's 7 of these things, Titan dragons, that get up and just head out. The ground shaking, which each of their footfalls. And Bree's like, yeah, we should go.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's get back to the shuttle, I mean. Escape pod, whatever it is.
Can you give me a reflex saving throw?
Sure. 13.
13. Klob, as you're running, you see sort of these raptor-like creatures running towards a pack of more of those sort of weird, these weird sort of tentacled apes. With no eyes.
Oh, yeah. I got it. The Lily's notes, orangutans?
Yeah. And they start fighting, and you kind of get caught up in the scrum.
Oh, shoot.
And in this lashing, You take 12 points of slashing damage before Bree can drag you out of it.
All right. I let her.
And you guys get back to the ship, back to the pod. You sort of have to both work together to turn it back up on end, get in it. You're kind of hanging on upside down, and then you poof, hit the button to take off, and you take off into the sky.
Are like all the organisms that were before like in harmony, are they all fighting together? Is that what's happening? Like not just those ones?
Oh yeah, it appears as you fly off that stuff is fighting.
It's teaching.
Atau is taking over. And is winning right now. Those giant leviathans are meeting sort of smaller, maybe like 2/3 the size leviathans, and just picking them up and like this Arquand is getting routed.
Perfect. And as we like take off, I'm like, wait, the staff! Damn it! Left the staff on the.
Oh, you left the staff? Oh no!
Yeah, it was like floating, right? You know, it was in the ley line.
Well, it's gonna be there a while.
Yeah, next person can find it.
And you take off, and you're able to get back to the ship.
Do we make it back in 30 minutes?
Oh yeah, you make it back with time to spare.
Okay. Cool.
I'm curious what, if anything, I experience of this since I have a small piece of its consciousness.
You experience all of this, kind of first person from its perspective.
I feel entirely overwhelmed.
Very overwhelming.
Oh.
Vizan offers to sedate you.
I don't know if it would help.
It's all Vizan's got.
Yeah. Can I try? Oh, I don't know if I want to. Can I try to talk with the piece of it that I have?
You can try. Give me a charisma check. Or a different skill that you might think is applicable.
Maybe like culture. Because I'm trying to relate to it.
Sure.
All that kind of I'm drawing on what we established earlier, kind of. I have to roll a couple things for this one. So 17 plus 10, so 27.
27. You sort of go into your mind and focus, and you see sort of this personification of this piece of it. You're in sort of like a blank space, and it's sort of running around in circles in fear. And as you try to coax it close, like a scared animal, it does come close. And it seems to sort of curl up to you and sort of take refuge in your presence. And then you feel it kind of turn to smoke. And you breathe in the smoke. And this thing that was separate is now part of you.
No, bad.
It had, but not in the. You think that, but it's sort of like sublimated itself into your consciousness. Like you control it.
Can we say it is somewhat similar to Jake? Help me. What are they called?
A trill.
Trill. Yes, that's what I was gonna say.
It is very much like that,
Trill
except you're much more in charge.
What's Trill?
Trill are
In Star Trek, they're a symbiont organism.
They're a Star Trek thing. They're a symbiont life form. And it's like a great honor to be chosen to be a host. So basically, this life form gets put inside you, and it retains all the memories of its past hosts.
Okay.
That's what happens to you right now.
Wildly unpleasant, but okay.
But it is sort of like you get the impression it's like a scared little animal cut off from the rest of the organism that's like hiding.
I just want to remind it, like that, like fear is the mind killer, and just control your fear and.
Your calm spreads to it.
Yeah. Good.
As you could have calmed yourself, Vizan says, so I've been looking at Percy. I think he'll be all right. I can surgically fix the eye thing.
Is it possible that I could try to speak with the entity and have it reverse what it's done before we attempt surgery?
Oh no, the eye thing, it'd take me 5 minutes. It's just the eyelids have fused shut.
That's super gross. Yeah.
I know. It looks like it hasn't had time to atrophy his eyeballs, but I won't talk any more about that.
Great.
His mind suffered considerable neural pathway degradation.
Can he like pull up like a Tony Stark kind of map that has like
Totally,
pathways
yeah.
of neurons and shit? And I'm like looking and I'm like, yes.
That's exactly what happens.
Great. Okay, good.
And then Vizan says, but I think he might recover on his own. He's showing incredible neuroelasticity.
Still young.
Nonsense, technobabble Robocop. It's like, no, this is like the pathways are reasserting themselves on their own. I'm not doing anything.
It might be another gift. Let's wait and see. But yes, do the eye surgery.
Goes over. Just done.
Great.
His eyelashes will probably grow back.
Maybe.
We'll see. And then as you keep looking at the sort of map of Percy's brain, it's like healing itself. The entity had been sort of breaking Percy's own sort of neural pattern and like putting on its own.
Mm-hmm.
And Percy's brain is like putting those back.
Do we think it's? I'm gonna discuss with Vaughn. Do we think it's because it's removed from the radiation or removed from the planet's influence, or?
He should have permanent brain damage.
I agree. Looking at the charts.
You don't recover from this kind of thing on your own. You need, psychosurgery and advanced reconstructive techniques, and he's just putting himself back together.
Monitor and record everything that's happening. It's interesting at the very least, and we could share it.
I'll get right on it.
Yeah. Just I reinforce the documentation as a standard, and I'm like, obviously it should be an APA, or like whatever, like whatever our standard is. I actually don't like APA. I prefer MLA, but I'm just like, I say, do whatever it is as long as it's not Chicago, and make sure you share it when we're done, and we'll write like a short paper to go with it or whatever.
Pip, what are you doing now that you're back on board?
Getting us ready for takeoff.
Cool. You go up to the helm in the bridge. It's just Chicken up there, and Chicken is a dragon.
Cool.
At the moment, and you're seeing that while the seat is kind of awkward because Dragon's kind of a noodle.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of an Eastern noodle dragon.
Mm-hmm.
They've kind of curled up and are able to use their claws much more easily than a beak to sort of run things.
Cool. And I'd be like, if you want me to like fabricate a custom chair for you, we got the UBPs.
How would we explain that to everybody else?
I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds nice. This is kind of weird.
I'll just make a chair that transforms.
Ooh, that's cool.
You know what you should make it out of? The freaking like purple crystal things that Bree's armor made out of, because then it could be modified at will. Really
These are awesome.
Club, you and Bree do get back to the ship. You're let in. You sort of haphazardly crash the escape pod into the cargo bay. That's going to take some work to put back. And everyone's on board. If you're looking at sensors, you see that the radiation sort of like spikes and fluctuates in weird ways, but is slowly getting weaker and weaker around the planet.
The witches, the radiation?
The radiation, yeah.
I think he's gonna let it live, but
I'm gonna ask. Yeah. If once Club and Bree get back, I want to bring them and Pip and Chicken, the crew, into the med bay with me. Give them an update on Percy. Tell them that Bazan fixed the eyes. Tell them about the radiation changes because I've been watching those. And just say like, is there what happened? I want to get the update about Atau and like, is Atau killing the planet? Like, what's going on?
sorry, yeah, I forgot that you guys didn't know. Yeah, I explained what happened, and I like tell you guys that I communed with him and like I asked him not to kill the radiation. But and I said I'll tell him like he thinks that he can subjugate it somehow and maybe control it. Either way, he won't let it kill anything here anymore, I don't think. And he said he'd let the survivors go also. He seems like a really nice guy, Atao.
I'm going to ask Dr. Vizan, I say, like, you know, I know I just had a heart attack, but, like, do you think I could take another one? Is what I'm trying to ask. Like, could I try to communicate with it again?
Vizan, like, is like, what?
Like, medically, is it a really bad idea?
You could probably take another heart attack. I could probably bring you back from another one of those, but if you stroke out, I don't know what I can do.
Okay, I nod and I listen to that, and then I turn to Pip and I'm like,
one,
hey, Pip.
2, 3 strokes, you're out.
I turn to Pip and I'm like, hey, Pip.
Yeah?
I just want to know what the status of this thing is, because I don't think it's evil, and I don't think I should have another go at it right away if I can't. Want to just throw this helmet on? It's really nice.
I have no psychic attunement.
Yeah, but this thing modifies it, and it's very powerful.
I don't think I'll have enough.
No, I think it'll be good.
Also, we've got 5 minutes left in that 30-minute timer I gave Klob, and I would like to leave on time.
Did you say you just put it on his head?
Yeah, I'm like nodding to Vizan, because I'm like sitting. I just had a heart attack. I'm trying to be realistic. And I'm just like saying, oh yeah, start like setting it up, yeah. And I'm just trying to explain to Pip, I'm like, look, if we're going to get these people off-world,
we're not getting these people off this world. It's just not happening.
They are going to have a chance to get off-world later. I just need to know what's up. And I can't try to communicate with it again because I might die. And you won't because, as you said yourself, you're not psychically attuned. So the psychic impact will be far less.
Or it just won't work.
Or it just won't work and then nothing will happen. So you have nothing to lose. Go ahead.
Or we could just leave.
Yeah, it'll take 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Yeah, we'll leave in 5 minutes.
All right, great. So do this for 5 minutes, and then we'll leave.
Or, and just hear me out on this one, or there's a planetary system nearby called Zachary's system, and we could go there.
do you want to do this as a roll-off, or like, if Pip really thinks nothing bad would happen to him, I don't know why he wouldn't do it.
Off to Zach's.
Because I'm out. I don't want anything more to do with this planet. I don't want to have anything to do with this planet, and it being on my head would be having to do with the planet.
Hey,
I know, I just don't think it's evil, and I think it's fine, and I want to make sure it's not getting, like, enslaved by Atao, because then I'll feel really bad.
I mean, Atao psychically made you like him, so I think you would like if they were all his slaves or whatever. Do you not remember that? We all came out of that vision, and y'all were like, Atao is the best, and I was like, the fuck is wrong with all of you?
No, I
Look, as far as I'm concerned, we killed 2 birds with 1 stone. We got away from the planet, and we got rid of this totem.
Yes.
Now is the time.
Now this guy is a scale priest, whatever the hell that is.
Oh yeah, I'm a scale priest. Also, he owes us favors, so we could totally cash in on those sometime. He seems like a very benevolent, powerful dragon. I see no problems with this.
Jake, are you not willing at all to do the thing?
I think it's a bad idea.
I think in character, Pip is going to say, I'm not willing at all to do the thing.
Yes.
Well, like, I'm saying...
As cool as Jake... Like, no, so, as Jake, I'm like, yeah, that might be kind of cool to see what's going on there. But as Pip, there's just no way.
Well, I'm saying, do you want me to do a roll-up? I'm very persuasive, and I just had a hard time...
No, but if you want to just slam the thing on my head while I'm not looking...
Oh, okay, I do that.
I'm going to go back to taking off. Thunk.
Pip, you have a second to go, what's on my head? And then Vizan looks sort of confused because nothing's happening, and then just grabs a dial and turns it all the way to the right.
To 11.
And then you kind of go... and all your fur stands up on end, and like kind of all your limbs kind of like pull in and your tail scrunches. And we sort of into your head, and
I'm gonna kill her when I get back to my body.
Pip, you sort of see through the thing's eyes, no eyes, and you sort of sense 1,000 little battles where Atau's monsters are attacking its monsters and winning almost every time. Um, you sort of see simultaneously all 7 of those titans
Hmm.
uh, plodding around the landscape, crushing forests, crushing a couple of those tree domes with their feet. Um, and you sense confusion and panic
Hmm.
as you feel sort of more and more parts, sections of the planet becoming apart from you. And then you're back.
And I throw that helmet on the ground, and I'm gonna pull out that big old pistol that I got from the planet, and be like, "Get the fuck away from me! Do not do that again!"
It's really hard to be afraid of Pip because all of his fur is standing on end, like he's been statically charged.
Or
So
just
he's
been
puffy
near a
and
hairdryer.
has a gun.
But I'm holding this massive pistol that's way too big for me. That I imagine looks like what's his name, Ronan's pistol from Stargate Atlantis.
Oh yeah, exactly.
From Pikachu.
Say. What did you see? What's happening?
The planet is dying, and Atau is winning. Now get off my bridge.
I'm not on the bridge. We're all in the med bay.
I was on the bridge. You put the helmet over the bridge.
Yeah, he goes up to the bridge, you sneak up behind him, thunk.
Oh, okay. I must have wheeled really fast.
And quietly.
I just googled it, it's called the particle magnum in the show,
That's cool.
which is ridiculous and cool. So yeah,
Well, okay. I'm like,
Minala kind of Chicken as a dragon, Vizan is not here, kind of looks over Pip's shoulder and is like, his whole like neck stretches over and he's like, the drift's ready to go.
Punch it.
Goes through. You get some like weird interference as because then you did it inside the nebula, but then you guys correct for it. And where are we going?
What's our next plan?
Zax.
stop. My
Zax is on Absalom Station.
I'm sorry. What's Zax?
Jake, have a thing where I say, or we could go to Zax and just hear me out on this one.
Jake's favorite pizza place in Berkeley, California.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure if that's what you were referencing.
that's what I was absolutely what I was referencing. For now, just away.
Cool, you're in the drift for like 10 minutes, and then you drop out, and you're in some kind of stellar debris field. There's some rocks and stuff, but nothing else out here.
Can we check? Okay, so we haven't checked on the status of like the news and shit recently about the war. I'd like to check in on that.
Good point. Yeah.
You think you'd need to be in the Pact Worlds to get like a clear, like
We just
signal
we
through?
get a delayed signal out here. Like,
Yeah, it's delayed. And it's kind of weak because it's so far away.
it's fine. We just need the headlines.
Is it like trying to use dial-up to do a Google search?
Yeah, really.
Okay, well, I can.
Um,
I'm a patient woman, and I just had a heart attack. I have some time to kill. I'll take a nap between each page load.
The news you're getting is that things are going poorly out there
For everyone.
for the stewards.
Mm.
You sort of tune into these talking heads. One guy, and it sends under like military expert, and the talk is really that the stewards, when Harper left, lost their best leader. All the best talent in the stewards left with her because she trained all of them, and they were all loyal to her, not the Pact Worlds. So the
Right.
people who are left, well, at the beginning of the war, they had a 5-to-1 advantage. In ships, they're down to 3-to-1. And that number keeps going down. It's just they're outgunned. They're going up against a smaller number of better ships that are being wielded really cleverly. And then another person is saying that it's stupid that they're fighting each other and no one is dealing with Jan Vakulis, who's just being allowed to do whatever he wants. He's attacked settlements, he's taken ships, he's sort of building like a second free captains that's way more brutal.
So it sounds like maybe we shouldn't go back.
Also, like, he lied then about his objectives because before he was just like, I need everyone to know that Harper's the worst. And now that she's almost defeated, he's still being a dick.
He's just kind of a dick.
So,
Well, that's lame.
how's Vesk space sound to everybody?
I would like to go somewhere where we can get materials to build new probes, and I want to send a few probes back towards Arquan. I know it'll take forever and ever.
I generally like warm-blooded creatures better, but I've dealt with Vesk before. They're all right.
They've got good food, good opera.
Great food.
They stick to their word usually.
You also see that the Vesk keep talking about sending a fleet to the Pact Worlds to reinforce the stewards.
Oh, that's right.
And anyone who knows what they're talking about is like, we really don't want this. That would be bad.
What other empires exist, or like?
It's really just the Vesk and the Pack Worlds with any kind of power in any kind of like striking distance.
And the Flood, or whatever they're called.
The swarm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, also the Swarm, but they're not around and they don't really answer their phones.
It's phone.
You sort of finish after like a day of resting and napping and going through pages, reading like 3 articles. You see you have a message that just finished downloading from Bibika.
Oh, yeah, I definitely look at that.
You open it, and it's her, and it's grainy, seemingly shot on a like poor hollow recorder, and she waves and she says, "My Nala, very good to see you. I have little favor to ask. I'm on Xerxes, and I need a little bit of help. Not big favor. You can come when you want." And then there's an explosion that sort of rocks the building she's in, and she sort of ducks and pauses, and then comes back and says, "But yeah, you could come. I have some tea from here. It's very nice, and we could share, and you could help us with trouble." And then sort of like bullet holes pop through the wall, and she ducks again, and then the little recording drone comes down to meet her, and she's crouching, and she pulls out this big sort of strangely organic-looking plasma weapon. And says, "You know what? I talk later. You call, you come, you don't come. It's okay." And she hangs up. And you see the last recording is that she sort of like leans out of a doorway and like starts shooting at something.
God. Okay. I tell the crew about this. I want to. Can we go to some? Pip, can we go disguised somewhere with a better signal so I can communicate with some Xenowarden outpost and play dumb?
Sorry, say that again? You want to go where?
Somewhere with better signal.
Yeah, we can get a little closer to the Pact Worlds.
Okay, because I want to
well,
do
so
a live
I'm sure there exist stations outside of the Pact Worlds, like colonies, deep space. I want to go to Deep Space Nine.
Absolutely, you can go there.
Great.
That's where I lay. I know all about those because that's where I hang out most of the time when I'm in between jobs and stuff. So that
yeah, let's go to like Deep Space 12.
Yeah, there's these sort of stations that hang out outside of the Orc Cloud that are kind of way stations or just whatever people want.
And Jake, to get to your general question of like where do we go next, we can always go back to Freeport and get more jobs too.
Yeah.
So just
oh yeah, that's true. Those little stations are basically like mini starstones that have, so they're like beacons that just have very small stations around them for the most part, like dozens of people, not even hundreds.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are bigger, but
isn't Triaxis the planet we like really want to avoid because Chicken is dragon royalty?
Triaxis is the dragon planet that's threatening to secede, where Chicken might be considered dragon royalty, and Xerxes is the planet that's tidally locked.
And which one was Bibika on?
Bibika is on Xerxes.
Oh, Xerxes.
Xerxes is a planet around a star or a moon around Triaxis?
A planet around the Pact Worlds.
Okay.
I don't know
much. Tidally locked.
What does that mean?
It means that one side always faces the sun, and the other side always faces away from the sun. So one side is always dark, one side is always sunny, and
basically
sort of
a ring around it.
That's twilight, yeah.
Where it's constant twilight, and it's the only livable part of the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
It's the only comfortably livable part of the planet.
Right.
Yeah, so very small temperate zone in a line.
And she's there.
Interesting. I want to try to find out what I can about this planet.
It's pretty heavily populated. That band has a lot of people, and a lot of people live on the dark side. Um, the dark side is sort of a center of like communications. A lot of communications equipment goes there because it's always in the dark side. It's always shielded from like noise from the sun.
Okay.
And so there's lots of communications equipment there, and also people who want to live like the kind of people who would like to have a fiber optic cable into the main thing. People who want really fast connections live there.
Okay. Interesting. Do they
Does
have
the,
like? Go ahead.
does the black body radiation emits from having one side hotter than the other put it into an unstable orbit where it's leaving its star slowly?
Yes, and it's estimated that in 200 million years it will leave.
Does
The planet is a solar sail.
uh is the planet like known for anything like particular trades or goods besides the technical equipment? Do they do development of technical equipment there, or is it just used there?
Yeah, they do quite a bit of development of technical equipment
Okay.
there. And on the solar side, you're sort of looking for things that a xenowarden would care about. There's a fair number of endemic species.
Okay. Okay.
Nobody lives over there, so like plants and animals are allowed to do whatever they want.
True. I if we get to, Deep Space 12 or whatever, I want to try to get a live chat going with somebody from Babika's temple.
You go through the drift for maybe a day or two, and you arrive at the sparsely, like the least populated station you could find, the Far Rim Recreational Area Ranger Station.
Wow.
Far Rim Recreational Area Ranger Station.
Yeah. There seems to be sort of for people who like the space version of off-roading, rock hopping, little skiffs. This is the ranger station, but it's closed right now. This is the off season. There's a meteor shower. It's not safe.
For ours, for sure. I mean, for short.
Closed like no one is there.
Closed like there's 4 rangers there.
Great.
Keeping an eye on it, and they it's a ship out there. There's one guy running the bar.
Great. Cool. Now that we have better signal to bounce, I'm gonna try to talk to somebody from her temple back on.
Are we gonna dock with the ranger station?
It's up to you.
Want to?
Yeah. Far Rim Recreational Area Ranger Station. This is the green. The fuck's the name of the bird?
I don't remember.
I can't remember. It was some nonsense.
Galumph. The green galumph.
Yep.
The plates match that right now, right? Okay, yeah. The Green Galumph requesting docking. We are fleeing some crazy shit, and we just need to refuel. We can be on our way. We know you're closed. We don't want to bother you too much.
How's it going there? Just the asteroid runs are closed, don't you know?
Oh my god.
No worries. So the station's open for business?
I can be.
Great. We'll be coming down to dock, replenish fuel and supplies, and use your what's the Starfinder internet called? The name.
I've been saying like Galnet.
You use your Galnet
connect.
Use your Galnet connection.
I'll get the grill warmed up for you then.
Fantastic. Over and out.
Okay, bye. You dock, you hook up your antenna, and you have pretty easy communications now.
Great.
Perfect.
All right, so I'll try to reach.
Oh, Green Griffin would be a good one.
Yeah, I
There we
like
go.
that.
Green Griffin.
Okay, fine.
You said green grumph. I guess I could have misheard. These comps are pretty old.
Galumpnik was okay too.
I'm just trying to think of an actual bird we could be named
Hey,
after.
Galumph is the national bird of my home. What are you trying to say about them?
So yeah, Manala, what did you want to say over the radio?
Yeah, I want to try to get like a live chat going. That's why I was going somewhere with better signal to one of the underlings that's left behind now that Babika's you know.
Sure, you've seen this guy before. He's usually the one who stays and watches the place on Absalom when Babika and the other Xenowardens are gone.
Great. My goal here is to like play dumb and not let on that I've had a message from her and just to be like, "What's up? I'm checking in. How are things? Where's Babika?" Like,
Oh, I'm sorry, Babika's not here. She's off world. She's off station.
probably off doing something wonderful and exciting as usual.
Yeah,
Uh,
probably.
does he seem like he wants to be doing something like
He would
that?
like to be doing something other than running this place when there's no one here.
Um, yeah, I don't know. Like, I'll just try to wheedle him for information and just be like, "How long have they been gone?"
Give me a bluff check, just a general bluff check, and he'll.
Cool.
If you do really well, I'll tell you a bunch of stuff.
Great. Yeah, I'm like we could do the fake conversation all day, but all right. I have to roll a couple things for bluff. I also have to roll a d6. Okay, so 18 plus 14,
A bunch.
so 32.
Um, what do you want to know?
Um, how well known it is throughout the ranks that she is on uh Verses
Verses.
and what her mission was there or like the nature of her mission. If they had intelligence prior to her leaving that it was gonna be, you know, a conflict heavy zone.
Some
If she
the
brought back,
mission she is on. The mission she is on is that there was some sort of corporate actor seemingly taking advantage of the turmoil to exploit protected air resources on Verxes.
oh,
And she and some Xenowardens were like, fine, we'll enforce that. And she went with backup. But he has not heard from her in a few days. She hasn't checked in.
how much backup did she bring?
Not a ton. Like,
Okay. No, that's fine. That's good. That's vague is okay.
yeah.
Um,
A reasonable amount for scaring some corporate dorks, but not enough for, like, a firefight.
hmm. Interesting. Um, do we know the identity of the corporate actor or no?
He doesn't know. He wasn't privy to the conversation.
That's okay. Um, how long has he been working there?
Oh, like 5 years.
Oh, is he just like not moving up in the ranks or
He doesn't seem to be, for
oh,
some reason.
okay. What's his background in? Like, where does he go to school? Like, I want to help this guy on his career path.
We'll say you get to know him pretty well.
I
Oh,
just want to like, if I'm like, oh, he does have applicable skills. Like next time I see someone and we're not in utter chaos, be like, you know, you should really think about promoting Jim. He has a lot to offer the team.
he works really hard.
He's very loyal to the cause. He's been there 5
anything-
years.
Anything else you want to know?
I feel like that's good. They went there. I know why they went there. I know she kind of took some backup, but it's been a while and that they haven't heard from her. So, yeah. I know. I feel like that was great. That was very helpful. That's what I was looking for. I share the information with the team, and I'm just kind of like, I feel like we should go to Xerxes. Xerxes. Xerxes is a person.
Is a dude.
is a dude. Sorry.
Person.
Yeah, very famous person. Sorry.
Also, as you are able, if you're able to read the news now, you get current news.
Oh yeah.
The stuff you were looking at before was maybe a week old.
Okay.
Now you are seeing, Viscarium has sent a fleet. It's on its way to the
Oh.
Pact Worlds. Stewards really getting their butt kicked. They're down to 2-1. Triaxis has officially seceded from the Pact Worlds.
No, we knew someone would do it first.
There was this, like, vote of no confidence at the Dragon Council, and all these, like, this very, very vocal group of, like, chromatic dragons were getting real angry, and they kicked out the, current metallic leader, and they've installed a chromatic leader, and a bunch of the, metallics were, like, protesting with no votes, and they did it.
Pretty soon it's just going to be the worlds.
Yep.
You get a sort of a coded message from Zydel, saying that
Oh.
Celeste is fine.
Oh,
They were
good.
okay. Your efforts there really helped reduce the damage significantly. And that if you guys come back, they've got a lot of sort of pretty lucrative and safe jobs running supplies to planets that have been neglected during the war, trying to build some goodwill and popularity with the free captains. Um,
Okay.
and and that's it. Unless you dig, that's all you find.
That's good. Um, yeah, so the message from Zidel too. Oh, okay, so yeah, the war update is interesting. Triaxis is left, and that Vesk is sending
A
ships.
fleet. Yeah.
Yeah. Ugh, it's like the UN falling apart all over again. Okay. Oh, writing this all down. There's like so many updates right now. And cool, so we have the Xerxes mission, which feels very time sensitive to me, and we also have potentially more work from Zidel. Cool. Awesome. Did anybody else have other news questions?
Not news
Or
questions.
things you want to look up now that you have
Now
PackNet.
we have communication with the world.
We got PactNet. Klob is going to go to I'm sure there's public terminals on this station, right?
Oh yeah.
He's going to go to a public terminal and kind of wire into it, and he always does.
You put a credit in, and it's like 20 minutes.
I can write it in 20 minutes. That's fine. And he spins up this little box that he has on his person, which is actually a little. It's an AI shell. So what it does is it rewrites text. It's an AI, a very very simple AI that rewrites text, so it's anonymized essentially, so people can't trace me by my writing style. And it also makes it look like an AI wrote it all. So because there's all these AI that just gather data and post it like on Pactopedia, and so I use that to anonymize myself essentially. And he starts like uploading all the stuff from the mission, a bunch of stuff. Like he uploads the shield modulation equation. He uploads which references some theoretical fields that haven't even ever been realized before. People don't even know they exist. He uploads a little bit about Arquand itself, and like, but state instead of actually posting what happened in Arquand, he debates a little bit and then instead just posts that there's a severe radiation storm that permeates the whole surface that moves rapidly and is hard to detect and fries biotic material. I'm just trying to keep people away from Arquand. And then lastly, he makes a brand new.
Wait, but I thought you. Now I'm confused.
Well, I don't know if I want people going there right now.
Well, what if those people want to be rescued?
Do they? I thought they didn't.
Oh, well, that's part of why I
You
wanted
never
to...
asked.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's why I wanted to resupply and send out probes that would be like communication relays, basically, so that they could send messages off-world if they wanted to.
Atau's got them. And he doesn't say much about what actually happened in Arc 1, but then he does write an entry on Atau. He writes like, and since Atau is very unknown to us and we still don't know that much about him, Klob is still not certain if he's a deity or just a very powerful dragon. Like a demigod.
If you said that, he would say, "What's the difference?"
Yeah, exactly. And so he writes sort of a stream of consciousness, kind of what happened step by step with Atau. Like we found the totem, and then he writes instead of linking it to Arquand directly, he writes that our dilemma eventually was solved when we arrived at an uncharted planet when our sensors were going haywire. It seems that the totem led us there, and then he does describe like the surface really just doesn't name it Arquand at all. And he and with that he kind of closes down, shuts everything down. And he's sitting there for a while and just looking unsatisfied at the work as it uploads in different words and stuff. And he's looking all through it and keeps on looking at that one bit that like the dilemma eventually resolved itself. And then he puts in another credit. It gets another 20 minutes, hits edit on the page, erases the dilemma, and writes "Our quandary." And then leaves.
As you get up to leave, you see crawling onto the top of the monitor is another one of those little green iridescent beetles.
Uh-oh. I don't flick it. Yeah, he gives a little bit of a wink, and that's it. Just walks away. I don't know if Atav's watching or what. I'm assuming that's what that is.
Pip, anything you want to do?
We refuel. We get all our shit back together.
Apparently, they have food here.
I eat. I am really mad at my Nala for putting that helmet on my head. And I don't know how to get back at her right at the moment.
The bartender in this little bar and grill is the same dude you talked to, one of the rangers, and he's sort of
It's all
like
just one guy. It's like you go to the when you dock, you talk to the docking guy, and that's him. And when you come in and you resupply, there's a guy at the shop, and that's him. And then he ducks and
It's
he
the same extra every time.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's what should he
Walkers
be?
in her antenna wax.
Tell me what race he should be.
Ooh.
You guys can make this guy.
Oh, can he be one of those forearm things? I forget what they're called. But
Yeah.
the forearm dudes,
Yeah, he's a
awesome.
Kasatha.
Kasatha.
We have,
Like,
we have a Kasatha on the ship. You know that, right?
Oh, who's the Kasatha? I thought
Vizov.
He's off.
Vizov.
Vizov. And I made the joke about, like, we trained him as our bartender, and he's, like, spinning many drinks at once.
I
Not
forgot.
gonna be-
I'm sure I knew that, but I forgot.
No. This guy is a Vlaka.
What's a Vlaka?
They're like a husky person. He's like a dog man.
Cool.
And he's super friendly. And you just find him easy. He's really easy to talk to. He's he gets you beer. And he's very friendly. He's happy to talk to you about your problems with the crew. And as you're getting ready to leave, Rhiannon comes up to you.
Okay.
And she holds out her hand terminal and says, "What the hell's this?" And on it, you see, it sort of takes you a second to understand what you're looking at, but it's the little service you've set up to pay the crew with the investments from shorting Blue Ion stock.
Right.
And it looks like the payment stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "What is this? Why did it stop? What's wrong?"
I look into it.
You sort of open your own terminal, you look into it, and you see an email from Accelerated Investments, the guys you went through to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And there's sort of a little newsletter thing, and it says, Regirax himself would like to welcome Accelerated Investments to the Blue Ion family of corporations. And it's like it's very happy, very corporate, like, congrats, we bought your company and now you're with us and you get to enjoy the security and, stability of Blue Ion.
And so they just froze my account.
And then, like, the next day, like 2 days later, there's this, like, legal thing, like legalese heavy letter talking about how Accelerated Investments has gone bankrupt.
All right, and I'm sure that they're insured, and that because everything's in chaos right now, no one is cashing out insurance.
Yeah, you can, like, try, but it seems they've changed their insurance to a shell company owned by Blue Ion.
No, sorry. Banks are not insured privately. Banks are insured by the government.
This one is insured privately.
No, that's so awkward.
Okay.
Yeah. It's horrible cyberpunk future.
That's so shady.
Okay.
What's a government?
Yeah, I was also like, what government would be insured private? Maybe Blue Islands, wherever their home planet is.
Banks that let you short a company's stock for a ton of money on a, like, 12-hour basis over the phone, that bank is insured privately.
Okay. I'll be like, well, crew's fired. You can all stay on this Ranger Rock planet.
Oh, stop it. I'm the captain anyway, so don't worry about it. And I've got a bunch of money from our last few jobs, so I'll keep paying the crew.
It appears that Blue Ion purchased Accelerated Investments and then and then killed it.
Okay.
Great.
I'm like, well, there's nothing I can do, so...
Well, we just don't have that steady stream, but we still got all the money from all the last jobs.
all things considered, very rude. Seems like Retrorax is a bit of a drama queen.
A little bit.
Um, yeah, that's what Pip finds in his email inbox.
Cool.
Right.
Supply
We're
wise,
we're gonna burn Blue Eye onto the ground.
Bugs Bunny voice. Of course, this means war.
what this means wool.
None of us can do a Bugs Bunny.
No, nobody here can. And Brandon
None of us
just
even
tried, so it
heard
feels
Bugs
bad now.
Bunny talk in the last month.
I don't actually know what Bugs Bunny sounds like anymore. I haven't seen
Any last minute things you guys want to do on this station?
If they have supplies that we could build probes from, I want to do that. If not, that's okay.
You can buy UBPs, 1 credit to 1 UBP.
Okay, and we have some too. But yeah, I'll work with Club and Bree and whoever else wants to help to make probes to
Cool. And we can do bookkeeping later.
shoot off.
Sure.
Yeah, sounds good.
Anything else? Percy is still unconscious and recovering. The crew would all like to go back to Freeport if they are in fact fired.
They're not.
We can't afford to pay them anymore.
Hey. We have a lot of money from the thing. So let's look at
We
finances
don't.
later and we'll see if we need to fire them or not. I did all that morale building during the travel. I feel
With
like
that morale building, they're all like, you've been paying us really well until now, like very, very well. They're willing to stick around for a little while.
see, there you go. That's the
Got,
spirit.
We have 1 paycheck.
Cat, I love you. Sounds good. Well, we'll figure all that out next time.
I guess next time we're doing a job then.
Yep.
Cool. So just real fast, we can change this later, but where are you heading right now?
Ooh. I have a strong vote for Xerxes. I'm gonna keep wanting to say Xerxes.
I like Xerxes. It sounds cool.
Yeah, Xerxes to help Babika because she's had my back and I don't want her to die. So yeah. That's my vote. But if people are like, no, we really gotta go to Zydel and get more jobs, then that's reasonable. But I'd like to go to Babika and it feels urgent. So
We could probably find jobs on Xerxes.
she may even
What is-
reward us. So
What does Pip say?
Sure.
cool.
Are you going to do it? Are you going to go the long way? Or are you going to go to Absalom and then Xerxes?
We don't want to go to Absalom, do we?
Going to Absalom would be dangerous. We'll go the long way.
Okay, cool. That'll take about 12 days.
Okay.
Cool.
Cool. And as you go back into the drift, that's where we will end this week. Thank you, players. As always, send me a laser taser phaser or just a stream of consciousness. I don't care. I just like hearing what you thought. Players, audience, thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, 7:15 p.m. Pacific time. And Jake.
Yeah.
Want to say?
Tune in Wednesday night for our D&D game. That is Princes of Azamar. This week the party is in the city of Rokai, right on the cliffs. This sort of capitalist, anarchist utopia.
Anarcho-capitalist.
That thing. When the orcs attacked. Don't they wish they had a government-formulated militia now?
And there's all these sellswords going around. Someone should pay me to stop this.
So tune in to see if someone pays them to stop this. This Wednesday here on Jetsam Academy, 7:15 p.m. Pacific.
All right.
I'm in that one.
Goodbye.
We're all in that one.